Hey guys, this is the truth or sketch that I posted a couple weeks ago. The thing is, you guys asked me a bunch of questions that were too interesting not to answer. So instead of making this a never have I ever situation, I just drew whatever came to my mind. I hope you guys like it. The download will be available under the post. I'm sorry if I tend to ramble. My throat is very sore, so I'm just trying to get through this so that I can get the post up. Who's your favorite author? My favorite author is a two-way tie between two brothers named John and Hank Green. Really interesting how opposite their writing styles are because one is very logical. He has two novels out right now, and they're about a robot that comes to not take over, but observe humanity and all these things. Like it's very based in science fiction. Then you have John Green, who literally wrote The Fault in Our Stars. It's the complete opposites, but I love both of their works. Are you afraid of falling into the sky? I was actually unaware that this was a thing that people feared. I'm not afraid of falling into the sky, although the thought of randomly just floating and not being able to stop is pretty fucking scary. But I don't think that it's possible, so I'm not afraid of it, I guess. Does this make sense? I want to say I'm not really afraid of heights in general because I love roller coasters, but I hate drop rides. So maybe that's not entirely true. I'm not afraid of flying either. Do you think we live in a dome with a sky painting? No, I don't really think that. But the interesting thing about this question is it reminds me of one of my favorite movies of all time called The Truman Show. If you've never seen The Truman Show, please watch it. It is one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies of all time. It's not a comedy, it's one of his more serious roles, but it's such a great movie. It's about this guy who from birth is raised in a dome with a sky painting. His life is a reality show basically, and he doesn't know it. But throughout the movie, he's slowly starting to figure out. Like from the beginning of the movie, he's slowly starting to figure it out. It's a very interesting watch because every single move of his is watched. It's a TV show. His life is also an advertisement. Like all of the appliances that he uses, all of the media that he consumes. It's really interesting and it's pretty funny in its own little ways. But I love that movie, so please watch it. Why are your favorite pants your favorite? Why are anyone's favorite pants their favorite pants? Because their butt looks good. Obviously. That's why my favorite jeans are my favorite jeans. Do you think we're alone in the universe? No. Why would I think we're alone in the universe? Literally, the planet Earth is a drop in the ocean that is the universe. Probably even smaller than that. So it's really silly to assume that we are the only living organisms, especially because we aren't even the only living organisms on our own planet. We don't even know half of the species that are probably in the depths of the ocean right now because we haven't explored the depths of the ocean. So to assume that we're alone in the universe is really just silly, honestly. If we aren't alone, would you really want to know? I don't think so. I'm my answer is a little bit weird. I would want to know about alien life, about their experiences outside of Earth. I would like to know what they look like and how different they are from us and how differently they think from us and how they operate and all that stuff. But I wouldn't want to be in direct contact with them. And my reasoning for that is humans are the most violent on Earth ever. So either we are so violent that we would hurt the alien species that came to contact with us, or we're not the most violent and they are. So it's terrifying. I would want to know about them, but I wouldn't want to be in direct contact with them because I am afraid of the damage that we could do. If you could choose an era to live in, why would you live there? My initial answer was to live in an era after ours. I would just want to see like the progression of humanity and whatnot. But I'm also afraid of where that progression could lead us because we're all assuming that we're only heading to bigger and better things and we're hoping that we're heading to bigger and better things, but sometimes shit happens and history tends to repeat itself, so it's a little scary and I don't know which timeline we live in. So in our timeline, Trump was president, so I'm good. If racism weren't a thing, I'd probably live in the 1950s just because I love the fashion, I like the music. I think it would be fun to live in an era where music was so dominating and where the fashion was just basically what my fashion is now or what my fashion choices are now, which is fucking swing skirts and bold lip colors and big hair and leather and fucking just like I love the greaser style. I love the greaser style. So it's great. If you had to ask Hitler a question, what would you ask? If I had to ask him a question, I have no idea. A question that I have for cruel people in general is why do you choose cruelty? Your brain doesn't make sense to me. We're humans. We're capable of choosing cruelty. All of us are. But why do you choose? Because it's a choice. It's not, I was born to hate these people. No, that you were taught that. Why did you choose to further that instead of choosing to educate yourself better? Why don't you choose kindness? You know, I will never understand it. What books have you read lately? So I reread the Twilight series. Don't judge me. Um, I wanted to see how poorly or how well they might have aged. Because initially when I read them, I was pretty young. But spoiler, like I don't think they aged poorly. They didn't age particularly well either. It's just that my understanding of love is a lot better now, and I see the toxic patterns in all of the characters, and it just. I mean, if the characters are not toxic, the story is not interesting. If we have a bunch of well balanced, healthy, non toxic people, it's just a really gushy, goopy, cute story, and we don't fucking like that. We like toxic characters, right? Because we relate to toxic characters, because everyone is toxic in some way. I see the toxic patterns in all these characters, and I'm like, oh my god, I used to love this shit. And I'm like, well, I can see why I liked it, though. I will say that New Moon, out of the entire series, stuck out to me, right? Because New Moon is where Bella gets ghosted by Edward. Like, he leaves for, I think it's like 6 to 8 months, something like that. The way that she describes her experience with being ghosted, remembering that he's gone and trying not to say his name out loud and things like that. Like, I understood that shit way better now than I did back then. Back then, it was just like, oh man, that sucks. No, now I'm just like, oh god damn it, girl, can you stop reading my fucking mind? Like, it was a very therapeutic read for me because it helped me understand, oh, this is why it hurt me so bad when my best friend ghosted me. This is why I was so triggered when my fiance would use this as a fucking punishment against me. You know what I mean? It's just, it gave me a better understanding of things, and it actually helped me move forward from it. Another series that I finished reading is the Rotten Ruin series. I am not the demographic for either of these series. It's meant for a younger crowd. They're young adult novels. But they're both series that I started or read when I was much younger, and I wanted to either finish them or reread them this time around. I kind of gave up reading for a long time, and I kind of miss it. So I was kind of just like exploring some old series and seeing how I felt about them. Rotten Ruin is pretty okay. The two characters that I drew are Edward Cullen from the Twilight series, who happens to be my favorite, and Nyx Riley from Rotten Ruin. She's a character that I relate very much with. She analyzes her own emotions a lot, and she's trying to figure things out as she goes along, even though she's been through so many traumas. And she writes everything down, which is me in a nutshell. Like, I journal and write about literally everything. Is there a situation with anyone that you feel you could manipulate into going your way? I think this is the only question that I didn't want to directly answer. I'm a content creator. I'm not a big content creator by any means. Content creators online, the bigger they are, the more situations like this they will come across. And you can manipulate the people around you into doing basically anything you fucking want. I'm trying my best not to be one of those people. You know, I'm trying not to take advantage of how you guys support me and how you believe in me and how you want to be a part of the things that I do. Because I've known a particular creator in the past who would take advantage of the people who supported them, and they would, like, just financially, I was one of the people that supported them, and they were a financial drain on the people around them, and we just fucking let them suck from our teats, and it didn't matter. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be that type of person. Like, I've fallen into it a couple of times where it's been very, very, very tempting to just let somebody else solve all my problems. I'm trying to be very conscious of that now. So I will say yes, I have been in situations like that, and there is situations like that now that I could easily just take advantage of. Probably not easily, but take advantage of and manipulate into going my way. But I'm trying my best to be a good person and not let the temptation override my morals, basically. What is your idea of men not choosing to commit or using you as a girlfriend, but not committing? Very simply put, don't be stupid. Don't tell your partner or whoever you're dating or talking to that you don't want a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever it is, but then go on dates with them. Or cook dinner for them, or have them cook dinner for you, or have them come over and leave their fucking toothbrush at your house. Don't do that. Don't do that. You want a girlfriend. You just don't want to be in a fucking monogamous relationship. Discuss being in an open relationship then. Oh, you don't want a title. Then don't be fucking inviting people to your house and having them spend the night. Okay, fuck them and leave. Like I can't fucking stand that shit. It makes me so angry. I think I've answered this one already on stream actually, but I'll answer it again anyway. Would you rather eat 5 jalapenos daily for 1 year or eat only olives for 2 weeks? Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't like either. I think I'd rather eat 5 jalapenos for a year because olives are bitter. They're vinegary. I don't really like them, and I don't like the texture all that much. Jalapenos I can throw into other shit. Like I can chop up a jalapeno and throw it into an omelet or a salad or something. It would be spicy as shit and way more probably damaging to my esophagus, but the flavor is not as bad as olives are to me. So the spice is bad, but the flavor isn't. What is your most awkward sexual experience? Okay, this is another one I probably don't want to directly answer. I'm not going to talk about the experience itself, but there was this guy that I met on, I think it was OkCupid. This guy is single handedly the reason my whole phase ended. That is how awkward this shit was. So I went to a Tatiana de Maria show and he invited himself. And the show was great. A couple of days after our birthdays, Tat is born May 1st and I'm born May 4th. So it was a couple of days after that. So someone had brought a cake for her to her show, which was great. And it was this beautiful, beautiful cake of her performing on a stage. There were little lights on it and everything. It was very, very well made. And this fucking guy walks up to the cake and he says, "Oh, that's so cool. Can I have a bite of it?" And he nagged the fuck out of Tat until she was like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." He picks up the whole fucking cake and takes a bite out of the side of it. And I just looked at him and I'm like, "There's no fucking way you just did that." So I started drinking to get away from this guy, right? Just because that was a really bad coping mechanism of mine back then. One thing led to another, and when you're drunk, you make really stupid decisions. So I ended up going to this guy's place. He lived near fucking Coney, and I live in the opposite direction. So it's like, oh, god damn it. Why did I do that to myself? And the entire time I was there, it was like he was trying and trying and trying, but nothing was happening. And I felt so bad for him. It was a fucking shame, honestly. And after that, I decided like, oh, I'm never doing one night stands ever again. Literally ever again. I never even spoke to him. It's just bad experience. I think that's my last question, actually. So thank you guys for asking me things and giving me prompts to draw these things. This was actually a pretty fun video to draw for and speak for despite my sore throat. So if you guys have more questions, leave them in the comments. I'll make another video if I get enough. Until the next one, I will see you guys online on the chat. Remember that you guys have your own exclusive streams starting this week. Starting this Friday, actually. So I hope to see you guys there. Have an amazing week. Be safe. Make good choices. Follow the golden rule. And make yourself happy. Don't perform for people. It's just, ugh.